All right, so welcome to Naturalistic Vibes Podcast, everyone. We got a great episode this week for you. I have a special guest here. I have Brandon Fubar Flowers here. He's going to be shedding some light on with us regarding some mental health projects that he's been working on, some upcoming events that he has going on um, in San Diego. He's out there in San Diego, California. So I want you guys to hang in there for a great episode today. We're going to jump right into it. And just so y'all know, now y'all done heard some of my other episodes, so y'all gonna hear me be a little bit nervous. This is my first guest interview. Okay. So just bear with me. So you're gonna see me pop in and out, and as y'all hang in there with me, and the more and more I get comfortable with it, the more and more we'll have a better flow. So all right, so Brandon, I want to welcome you to my podcast again. Thank you for being my first guest on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I want you to tell the listeners a little something about yourself. Tell them who you are and some of the work that you do.
Well, first and foremost, I'm Brandon Flowers from San Diego, California. I'm an artist and also art curator for creative events in San Diego, mainly in the Black Arts and Culture District, which is a area spanning from 61st Street to 69th Street, and that's been it's been awarded to us as a Black district now, our first Black district. So I'm involved in the arts that go into that community and putting together the events for the community. So I'm very hands on with all the organizing that's happening in the city at this time.
So that, so to me, that's what's awesome. That's one of the things among many things since I've been following your work that I admire about the work that you're doing out there is you're out there hands on connecting with the people in the community. And I did once I learned that. Once we talked last weekend, and you told me that you were very instrumental in getting that part of your community recognized as, introducing cultural arts into that community. That's real major right now, because the generations coming behind us, we need to make sure that we're empowering them with the proper information, right?
Right.
Um, as you know, my podcast is geared toward Gen X, Xennials, and Millennials. So that's kind of our age bracket there. And some of the theme that I've been running with since I started my podcast is making sure that our generations recognize that we're up for running the entire world, right?
Right.
So once the elders have transitioned and moved on to the ancestor realm, we're going to be the ones that are running the world. And what does that look like to us? And so people like yourself and others like you that are out there, truly connecting with the community, seeing what the community needs in order to make it thrive. That's major work. That's big work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very important, especially in these times. You know,
Absolutely,
it's time for
absolutely.
the youth to step up, and for the people that have a creative vision to actually show it. We have to be the next catalyst for the generation after us.
Absolutely. So, tell us some of the type of arts that you actually do yourself, and then some of the what art programs or events that you've introduced into the community through your journey.
Well, I do primarily 3D art, but also I I've found my niche in doing black art or black history art or Black history based art. So sometimes it's not just an African background. I mean, well, not to say African background, but it's not just African, but it's all derivative. So I might do something from Mexico that still speaks to the African base that it started from.
Mm-hmm.
Create art that basically isn't out there at this time because there's not too many artists that come from that standpoint that do the research that I do that goes into actually creating the art. So that's been my strong point lately as far as selling art.
Okay.
Uh, I've done so many different events from trapping paints, different parts of the city. I have different hubs of art events. So in each one, I do different themes, like weekly. At my trapping paints, I would do say one night I would do maybe like a Barbie event or something like that, and then the next Tuesday I would switch it up and do maybe a dedication to Takeoff, who passed away from the Migos.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
I try to focus on whatever is going on at the moment, and then cater to it, and make a connection for the community to be able to service their feelings or whatever.
Okay. And so, as you were discussing it, like I said, I noticed that you've done some work with the youth as well. Um, Here's the thing, like I don't, you know us, you know me and my husband, we don't have children, but I absolutely love working with children, especially like the teen age bracket, right?
Right.
Um, they are right now. I've been talking to a lot of them. Very interesting group of beings here that that we have the graces of being in. I feel like there's a lot we can learn from them, um, as we're learning and guiding ourselves, guiding them as well. What are some of the things that you presented to the youth in your community, and then what kind of feedback did you get from that?
Well, to the youth lately, I've had some events where I'm actually teaching courses. So I've been trying to teach them shortcuts to learning how to get to where I'm at as far as artistry. So
Okay.
2 weeks ago at an art gallery called Oya Art Gallery, located downtown or close to downtown, we had a 6 to 16-year-old event where we had them come in for free. It's provided through the actual art gallery, but we have things basically trying to teach them and how to get into the arts and the importance of art, and pretty much just giving them something new and creative to do, keep them out of trouble. So I think it's like very important that more cities activate their artists and have them do the same thing in order to have a connection with the community and the youth, you know, and whatever arts that they may want to get into in the future. So it's best to get started with them at a earlier age. That's why we start from 6.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. See, that's when I started this podcast, like I said, um my guide was going to speak to our generation. And some of the things I remember coming up was that we had access to a lot of creative art stuff. We had art class in elementary. Like you went to art class every day.
Right, right,
We learn how to write creatively by them allowing us to create short stories and draw pictures and turn them in. So we were able to use our creativity a little bit more, I feel, than the generations behind us. Which is why, again, I feel like it's extremely important for us to pour that into them. And that's one of the things that, again, I really admire about the work that you're doing out there. And just from seeing just so many other different beings around the world, right?
right.
We're all starting to, and I don't say all. Let me rephrase. This retrograde, y'all. Don't mind me. But there are a lot of us that are really tuning in to what is being called for us to heal, right? And one of the things that we're being called to heal is that inner child, right?
Right.
That's what's been stifled, and it like today it's baffling to me, right? When I did this past holidays, all the teenagers that I was around were just sitting in the house with adults, right? And so every teenager I asked, I'm like, um, y'all don't have no friends, ain't no parties going on, ain't nothing jumping off. And they like, no, everybody kind of just doing their thing. And I'm like, man, when we were their age, again, even though we were at the moment where our creativity was being, moved, like music programs and stuff like that, um, as we were transitioning from them, removing those things, we still interacted with each other
Right.
socially too. So I feel like that's very important too, to get the children connected with each other from different various backgrounds, so that we can all, get past a lot of these what I call viruses, hating each other, all of these different
Yeah.
culture beings for just being different or whatever the case, right?
Right.
I feel like again, what you're doing speaks volume to adding value to at least your community, by bringing awareness to the children that, hey, yeah, it's okay for you to tap into your creativity. It's okay for you to express that creativity how you see fit. And so I
Right.
feel like that kind of puts us in a good position, because we're a little bit more allowing in that space when, for example, if a kid wants to paint on the wall in their bedroom.
Right.
Back in the day, what would happen if you painted on the wall in your bedroom?
Oh yeah, you get in trouble for that.
Yeah, yeah, it was going down.
Yeah,
So
yeah, couldn't do that.
yeah, so today, um, the parents today are more allowing in that space, and I feel like that's going to be a major catalyst to changing, how we all kind of interact with each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it can. I mean, it can build character to allow that type of stuff from an early age. Like my mom she never held back on letting me, draw on things. Not to say I can draw on the walls, but you
Right,
know,
right.
I was able, but I was able to draw myself, or she kept me supplied with paper or any of the means that it takes to be able to create and invent that way. So that's very important. That's why I really try to be hands on with teaching everybody that I come across that it's best to get this energy out or these experiences out through art. Once upon a time, there were scribes that's all they did was speak to the people through their art, and these works of art still last. They're still here today. So there's an importance for art that hasn't really been explained thoroughly. And I feel like I'm here for that, to not just
Man,
only explain it, but to actually show how this art works in different ways. You know,
yeah, see that's what's beautiful. Like I said, it's to see art being expressed in so many different ways. And I mean, I've seen people use nature and turn faces, like the background of a building or something with a tree in the background, and they make it look like a real beautiful being. So stuff like that, like, just, I don't know. I've always kind of like graffiti too, like
right?
all to me, all of it's a form of art expression. And what, again, teaching the children how to tap into various modalities of that's real important, you
Yeah.
know.
There, and
Uh,
there's an importance for graffiti too. A lot of people don't realize it, but they speak to the community and they say a lot more than some of our politicians do, as far as
yeah.
putting uh their feelings on canvas, or using the, like they say, paint the city red or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They'll actually place things up there that maybe ignored, things that we need to be talking about. So there's a importance even for graffiti art. I was once a graffiti artist too, but
Really? See, that's super dope, man.
yeah, yeah, no, I've explored pretty much every part of artistry, even from music to just shadow work, doing like sketches with pencil, and
Hmm.
I've done so much as far as art goes that I can promise you that there's so many benefits from it, from even just uh, a healing aspect, from mental wellness. That's why I have those programs too to
Yep,
be able to
that's what I was going
wellness.
next.
Yeah, yeah. You know, oh, I don't want to get in the way of the questions and
Oh
overstep.
no, no. We flowing, fam. Just keep it moving.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I have a program called Art of Wellness that's coming up next month.
Mm,
I'll be pretty much bringing together different wellness companies and providing it as a service to the community as another form of art. So they'll understand that there's different ways that they can seek that type of healing. So
yeah,
once again, the art is the glue between a lot of different things.
absolutely. One of the things. Okay, so I have two nieces. And the reason why I'm bringing up my nieces is because they're 16 and 15, and they've been drawing. I mean, for real, since they were children, right? And now they're at the point to where their drawings are taking the form of like their personality more.
Mm.
And so one of my nieces, she has various notebooks that okay, I almost said you know, I ain't gonna put you on blast, but I'm gonna speak on your art and stuff. I ain't gonna say your name. But so one time I came to visit down in Memphis, and she had drew out like several characters, and she actually had a storyline to these characters. So this one she was maybe like 12 or 13. And it was so good it gave me comic book vibes, right? And so I asked her, I said, so when you gonna release your first copy? Because this is actually this is actually really good. It's really creative. It had a really good story. The images fit the story.
Yeah.
And so, but she does I don't know if it's a skit, it's not just really sketch art because she actually draw them out, if that makes sense.
Uh,
Um and I don't know all the different art terminologies. But she uses like pencils, like colored pencils,
oh,
or
yeah, yeah,
or some of some form. But I thought it was very interesting to me because again, we kind of experienced where the art was being removed, art programs were being removed from our communities, from our schools. And I feel like for those who were affected by that, that expression, that creative expression was kind of stifled. And so now is more than a perfect time, everybody, for real, for real. Now is more than a perfect time to really tap into that because um, this is this is the like your defining moments, right? Everybody thinks it's when you're in your 20s and stuff, right? But it's not. You're still learning.
right.
So I feel like being able to really express who you are authentically from whatever art space that is, that really helps you to really hone into who you are, embodying that I am energy.
Yeah, it's never too early or too late to really get into this art. Like it's another language. I think it may even be our first language because we learn color first.
Yeah,
How to identify with things for the most part. Um,
yeah,
so it's like I said, there's so much importance into art, and I'm glad to be at the tip of this spear at this time to be able to actually explain it to people thoroughly, and not, like I said, once again, not just explain it, but to be able to show it through all these different events that I do weekly. You know, it's proven to be fruitful, and not just in a monetary sense, but just like just seeing people actually find themselves in the art and then become artists themselves. I have
Hmm.
a lot of my people that come to my events. They've always shown, their what they've collected over the times,
Hmm.
and then explain to me what it means to them. So I like to see exactly what they see, and it just helps them be able to find themselves through the art. They
Yeah,
may
yeah.
they may get some emotions
Mhm.
off their chest that they normally wouldn't maybe say, but they'll put it on their canvas and leave it there.
Absolutely. So, that actually just brought me to something. So, we're working with any age bracket. It doesn't matter, young, old. I don't like to say old, but the young and the young,
Mature, yeah, yeah.
the mature.
Come on,
There we
mature.
go.
We'll
Find the
go with that. Right.
retrograde is fumbling up my words, y'all. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But
Uh,
let me ask you this. Do you have any encounters where you remember working with like either a specific person or a specific group of people where they were really dealing with some things, like maybe emotionally, mentally, and you show them how they expressed it through their work and you actually saw a progression or evolution in that person?
yeah. So I had maybe 2 years back. I started doing mental wellness programs, and I had a person, or actually this happened before that. I met a I'm not gonna say her name, but I met a young lady who was going through depression and all types of whatever at the time. I don't want to speak exactly on it, but
Gotcha.
she was going through too much, and basically I guess was at a place where she felt like she was at her end, and then she recalled some of the lessons that I had taught at one of my events
Hmm.
about going through things and having the sense of the word going through something means that there's still more to go through, that there's a goal at the end of it. So she
Right.
expressed that through this art program that I did, that it actually spoke to her and may have saved her life because she was going through some real tough times and depression, and not being treated well. So she came and painted at the event, and what she painted was basically speaking to that, I guess, to her survival.
Hmm.
So, I know just off of the experience, just that off that experience alone, there must be more people who probably go through things. But that's one of the situations that sticks out the most to me, because that's when I realized that what I'm doing has a significant value to whomever it reaches, not to me. It's not decided upon me. It's pretty much just who shows up to these events and who needs that service. And I'm proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at with it. Like when we're speaking on holistic healing, at least from the way I under it became to understand it, was it didn't just deal with like one aspect. And when mental health started like kind of coming online, I said, let me kind of pay attention to this. And the first thing I felt in my spirit was, man, there's a lot of people out here suffering that are suffering internally, and to be able to have a way to express that without having to go and sit down on the couch and talk to somebody, or pop a bunch of drugs in your
Right,
system to get you to try to cope with it when you shouldn't. It's not a coping thing. This is an actual healing thing, and so it has to be addressed, whatever it is that you're going through,
yeah,
um, especially mentally, especially now with everything being like the mental space being like overstimulated with so much stuff, right?
right, right,
And that kind of thing, those kind of things, unfortunately, is shaping the realities of a lot of people, unfortunately.
right, right.
So
Yeah, so they
programs like
so they so they need this outlet, right? They need these programs. It's important. And your program too. This is a program too. If you think of it as another form of art that helps people, you know, have a voice and get out their emotions. This is a another form of art too, to have this communication and have a, you know, how you set it up to have a theme to it, and
Mhm.
it's here to heal people, to be able to speak about these things. I mean, just even me being able to speak about this now is like, you know, I needed another outlet other
Oh,
than just painting, you know.
yay.
You know,
So this is
so
worked
what you're
out.
doing, right? So what you're doing is right on time. It's necessary too, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so like I said, a lot of people in our generation, we kind of got stifled. Unfortunately, I was one of those people who didn't really like. I expressed art and creativity when I was younger, maybe up to about 10. And then from there, it went strictly into sports and but not expressing creatively.
Right.
And so I had to actually find that. And I did an episode on how I actually got started into that. So y'all go check it out. If ain't nobody checked it out yet, go on, drop that little list and click on it. And I go into detail on how I even arrived at this being my form of creative expression, because I can be quite a chatty patty. But I had to own that and love that about myself, right? And so I feel like that's where we're at. We're needing more programs, more things out there, more events, more connecting, connections with each other, not just, socially over the internet or a phone, but human touch, where we're physical eye touch, contact, where we're actually dealing with each other so that we know how to deal with each other, right? Okay. Um, so I do apologize about that. See, this is my first. This one is my first. I
Yeah,
appreciate you through the technical difficulties.
yeah, yeah. I'm patient. It's okay. As a,
So we don't.
as an artist, you have to be patient. You know.
Yes, and you know what? I'm glad that you said that because that has been one of the things that this has really taught me patience, like for real.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
really learned how to not get so frustrated. I used to get extremely frustrated, especially with technology, but not so much anymore.
No, it's okay. No, you're just waiting for the
So
paint. You're just waiting for the paint to dry. That's what I like to call it. Just
there it is. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So the thing that they'll take the different. I'm gonna blame it on the retrograde again, y'all. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. um, but so I have two more questions. Well, one more question, and then we'll wrap up after.
all right.
Okay. So during your coming into knowing that, hey, this is my form of expressing to others and being able to share with others and show them um, that they can do this themselves in different ways. Did you encounter any like challenges or obstacles that you feel like, you know what, the hell with this shit? I'm gonna just
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep going and do it by myself. I ain't been teaching them. But did you ever encounter anything like that? And if you did, what did you do to overcome it?
So by overcoming, you mean like did I ever have any obstacles in on my road to here to this point?
Yeah, like as you were so like yeah, so like as you were coming into and I guess maybe let me reword it a little bit. So, as we come into different phases of our evolution, um, we take on different assignments, right? And
Right.
so the way I like to kind of explain it is, for example, with my husband and I, my husband is a creator, y'all, like creator. And so it's very natural for him. Like even when he ain't trying, he creating. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
so so he's very confident in that creative space, right? So him being able to work with others or not is nothing. And him being able to, teach others what he knows versus flying solo is nothing, right?
Right.
Um, but he is he. So, but with me, it's more like I had to kind of get in a modality where I actually had to accept that, okay, no, this is what I do. This is my natural ability, and gain that confidence to move forward with it. So I guess if that makes sense. So like,
Right.
did you run into anything where you felt like, maybe this is too big for me, or, I'm not gonna be able to do this, or I'm just gonna keep it right here and that's it. And
Mm,
but you got to push further to actually go and help a wider range of people.
no, I feel like I've had a pretty organic and flowing process. Like nothing has been forced. Uh my rise has been like, I feel like it's been anointed or whatever. Like everything just keeps coming to me. I haven't really chased this dream as much as people might suspect. So I wouldn't say I've had these problems that maybe most people have when maybe they doubt themselves or they have people in the
Mm-hmm.
way. I don't, I'm at a point where I bring in other artists to help with stuff, and I'm more of the being a curator is basically like I create the the solutions, so I don't really have time for the problem. I don't really focus on the problem so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so trying to give the opportunities for other artists to be able to get to this point. So I don't think I've had any kind of like not too much of a obstacle course to go through. It's more so
Mm-hmm.
just, getting these ideas out and making sure that they look exactly the way they look in person as they do in my mind. So that's the only obstacle
Mm-hmm.
I would say I have. I never doubted myself. That's not my style. I've never uh
Gotcha.
I've never had uh I don't want to say, I don't want this to come off wrong, but I've never had the proper competition or anything like that. You
We're
know,
not gonna take it wrong. We're not gonna take it wrong.
yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
had anything that makes me feel like I haven't had anybody that made me feel like they're really in the way. They,
Mm-hmm.
they might,
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
if they thought so. You know, I might play around with the idea a little bit, but it's just me playing around. But for the most part, no, I don't think there's anything in my way. I'm a believer in God and divine intervention, so I know that everything that's happening for me is for me, and the universe keeps on moving and moving everything out of my way. So no, I wouldn't say I haven't.
Absolutely. So magnetizing, like an auto magnetizer,
Yeah,
magnetizer rather. So it's
yeah,
almost like you learn how to really work with it. Or
yeah.
maybe just it could just be natural for you. Maybe I think I use the wrong word. Natural for you to really work with that part of your energy.
Right. It's
That's
something that
that's
I
that's
it's
good.
something that I ran from for a long time. I've always been able to do art. I'm a third generation artist. It runs in my blood. So,
Okay.
but it's something that I didn't do like only just out of the fact that I thought that I can do so much more, and it came so natural. So
Mm,
it wasn't anything that I had to try to do. I was always jotting since a kid. I was always writing and scribbling things. So yeah, it's
mm.
really a natural process. I know I belong in this position, like for sure, for sure.
I'm confident that you belong in that position too. I again, my hats off um to you, your team, everybody that you work with. All the other people out there in the other communities all over the world that are actually again implementing things, implementing ways where we can all start helping each other and heal. Because that's what this is about, y'all. It's about us coming into that space of being able to connect with communities and being able to do it from a compassionate space and lighthearted, no judging. Doesn't make sense. We all create how we want. We all do what we need to, and we do that, with the compassion for each other, and we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. All
Right.
right. So I know um, the last thing I wanted to the last thing I wanted to touch bases with. I think we already kind of, so we kind of already went through some of the questions, y'all. I told y'all this was my first. I had the questions wrote down, but I'm actually more of a, I like to let it flow type
Right,
person.
right.
And so I really did enjoy this interview with you. Definitely, I know I'm got me a little feedback to, kind of go through. It's all good because we are here to learn and teach each other and help each other and learn from each other. And that's what it's about. We're not losing, we're doing like we have lessons. So you turn your lessons into wins because that's what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So before we check out of here, I want you to tell the listeners, how they can reach you, where they can get in touch with you, and what's the next event you have coming up.
Well, first and foremost, you can reach me via Instagram. That's probably the most the place to find me. Most times I'm promoting on there at very Fubar on IG, or you can find me on Facebook at Brandon Fubar Flowers, or you can find me at the Mental Bar, which is a an event space, or not just an event space. It's actually a black owned coffee shop, but we use it as an event space too. But that's located.
Mhm.
If you're ever in San Diego, it's located on 6325 Imperial Ave. It's a very welcoming space. I'll be having events pretty much weekly over there. Uh, some of my next ones include my plant and paint event. That's a special event that's going on like Earth Day weekend. So
Okay.
it's to promote the connection between plant life and actual life and human life, you know. And that'll be another
Oh,
youth event. And then I also have the Art of Wellness event in May. And I also have some wine and paint events just for the adults that want to come through. That's coming up in, I think, in maybe 2 weeks from now. That'll be a Saturday. I'm not sure about the dates, but anybody that wants to find me can find me on IG. I will post the calendar in my stories or on my page, on my feed or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I have so many events coming up. I'm doing a lot of work with these people that have grants currently going. So I'm trying to work with them in order to make sure the money gets used in more creative ways. So that's like one of my primary focuses right now is to help service the community, make sure that the right people get this art and that they have a form of communication through art. And also just to have another place to do something different other than just the club and hookah and
yeah,
and just the same things that we typically have in the neighborhoods that we grow up in. You know,
yeah, yeah. Diversify that kind of stuff.
yeah, because this leads to the next leaders of creativity, and we all should know that art is important. It's around us as far as like billboards, clothing, everything that we do has some kind of element of art to it. You know,
Hmm.
so once again, I'm happy to be in this position to be able to even be able to speak to you about these things.
Yes, yes. Thank you again. Thank you for gracing our presence, gracing our show with your presence. See, sometimes again, gracing your presence, our show with your presence.
Right, right.
I really did. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I started off nervous, but actually, this was fun. This was really fun. It really was. Uh, we're going to some of those dates, you guys. I do have his flyer. So check out, my post where I mentioned his coming on here, his interview episode dropping. So it'll actually have those dates on there. So if you can't make this weekend event, y'all got plenty of other weekends
Yep.
where y'all can stop through. What was that address again for the mental line? Give us one more time.
The address is 6325 Imperial Ave. That's the Black Arts and Culture District of San Diego, California.
Sweet, sweet,
And
sweet.
the
Yes.
place is, once
All
again,
right.
the place is Mental Bar. I'm sorry, just to make sure everybody knows, the place is the Mental Bar, which is perfectly named for what we're doing. We're trying to really raise the mental bar in the community.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, we didn't get into that. We'll get to do another interview
Oh,
down the road,
certainly.
I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that way we'll it'll be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
So yeah, so again, thank you for coming on the show. For you guys, make sure you check me out. Like I said, with my with let me start over. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook only at NHB Podcast. Told y'all tongue tied today. And you can also check me out across all other social media platforms except Twitter and Snapchat at Naturally Holistic Vibes. There you're going to get updates on more upcoming guests, what the show has to offer and certain things that we're going to be presenting. So expect to get more of this fire right here. Y'all ain't gonna get it nowhere else. Better, I'm telling you. We're gonna be sharing resources, making sure that with all the things that's going on internally, if you can't share, if you don't feel like you have an outlet, we're gonna make sure that you find whatever different outlet you can creatively, holistically, so you can connect completely to your holistic self, right? So that you can be the best version that you came in this incarnation to be. Because at the end of the day, this is about you. This is about you. So that's what this whole thing on bringing the guests is about. Well, I want to make sure that everybody is being able to connect with different resources and in their communities. And if you know somebody in that lives in San Diego and you don't live there, you know somebody, send them to the mental bar. Tell them to go check it out. So again, thank you, Brandon, for being on the show. We're gonna be out of here, you guys. It's been love. It's been real. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.